Did Eagles fans just get hit with a reality check heading into the 2025 NFL season? Let's break it all down right here. Welcome back to the channel. This is Eagles Now. And today we've got a lot to unpack about what's coming up for Philadelphia, from scheduled challenges to roster depth, from offensive expectations to the uphill battle the defense is about to face. There's a lot that Eagles Nation needs to be aware of. So let's start with the big talking point. Making waves right now. The projected win total for the Eagles going into this new season has been set at 11.5 games. That's the line, and it's got fans debating everywhere. Will Philly go over or under? Some are optimistic, others are taking a more cautious approach. And when you start digging into the details, you can see why this has become such a hot topic. If you look around the league and compare, the Eagles find themselves grouped with some serious heavyweights. The Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens. These are the teams sitting right there with Philly at that 11.5 win total projection. Each of those teams has Super Bowl ambitions, each is loaded with talent, and each is carrying big expectations into the season. And let's not forget the next tier just below. The Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers are coming in at 10.5 wins, while teams like the Chargers, Rams, Commanders, and Texans are sitting at 9.5. So, by all measures, the Eagles are still being viewed as one of the top dogs in the NFL heading into 2025. But here's where the conversation takes a turn. Despite being the defending Super Bowl champions after absolutely dismantling the Chiefs in one of the most dominant Super Bowl performances we've seen in recent memory, the Eagles are staring down a brutally difficult schedule this year. That Super Bowl win back in February at the Superdome in New Orleans was historic. Rarely do you see a team put on that kind of performance on the game's biggest stage, especially against a Chiefs squad that was chasing a third straight Lombardi trophy. But as is always the case in the NFL, success comes at a price. When you win, the following year's schedule gets tougher. That's just how the league works. And this year, the Eagles will face a slate that many analysts are calling one of the most challenging in the entire NFL. Let's talk specifics. Philadelphia will not have back-to-back home games at any point in the season. That's a rare and frustrating quirk in the schedule that could absolutely affect this team's rhythm and recovery throughout the year. It's going to be a constant back and forth between home and road games, never allowing the team to settle in and build momentum with a comfortable stretch at Lincoln Financial Field. And if you thought that was tough, consider this. The Eagles are making the biggest year-over-year jump in strength of schedule across the league. Last year, their schedule ranked as the 10th easiest. This year, it's the 4th hardest. That's a dramatic leap. 11 of their 17 games will come against teams that made the playoffs last season. That's 11 games against playoff caliber competition. Plus, the Eagles are a massive brand now. They've got star power all over the roster. They're featured in prime time 6 times this year. Plus that Saturday matchup against Washington. That falls right in that national spotlight window. It's clear that the league knows the Eagles draw eyeballs, but that also means more short weeks, more travel complications, and less recovery time. Now, breaking down the schedule week by week, it's a gauntlet from the very start. The season kicks off on Thursday, September 4th, at home against none other than the Dallas Cowboys. That's Thursday Night Football, and it's shaping up to be one of the most anticipated season openers in years. The idea of raising the Super Bowl banner right in front of Dallas and their fan base, that's poetic, but it doesn't get easier from there. Week 2 is a Super Bowl 59 rematch on the road at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. That's right early in the season. The Eagles will walk right back into Kansas City's house and look to prove that February wasn't a fluke. Week 3, back home against the Los Angeles Rams. Then Week 4 on the road against Tampa Bay. That's a team that's given the Eagles problems in recent seasons. Week 5, back home against Sean Payton and Bo Nix with the Denver Broncos. Week 6, up to the Meadowlands for a Thursday night clash with the Giants. Short week, travel, division opponent, not ideal. Week 7, a trip to Minnesota, one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. Week 8, another meeting with the Giants. This first half of the season is relentless, thankfully. The bye week comes right in the middle at Week 9, a perfect opportunity to reset. But coming out of the bye, it's the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football on the road, then back home on a short week to face the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football. Then it's back on the road against Dallas, followed by a home game against the Chicago Bears on Black Friday, who many believe will be much improved this year. It doesn't stop. Week 13, On the road against the Chargers, another Monday night game, Week 14, back home for the Raiders. Then the final stretch, on the road against Washington, on the road against the Buffalo Bills. And finishing up with another matchup against Washington. That's the games against the divisional opponent in the span of 3 weeks. The physical toll of that alone can't be underestimated. Given all of this, it's no surprise that analysts are starting to lean toward the under on that 11.5 win projection. Pro Football Focus, for example, has taken a clear stance they're going under, and their reasoning. While the Eagles return almost all of their key offensive contributors, the road to success this year is going to be a lot more complicated. Let's zero in on some of the key elements of this roster. Saquon Barkley is back there in the backfield, behind one of the league's most dominant defensive lines. That line, anchored by Jordan Mailata, was graded at an elite level by Pro Football Focus last season. Massive holes were opened up for Barkley, with Philly leading the NFL in yards before contact for running backs. The Eagles will lean heavily on that run game again, complemented by a defense that remains stacked with talent, but Barkley's workload last season was enormous. He led the entire NFL in touches. He's approaching 29 years old. That's an age where running backs historically start to slow down, especially those with injury histories like his. Of course, Philadelphia's offense is about much more than just Saquon Barkley. This is a balanced attack. When they needed to throw last year, they showed they could do it at a high level. Remember that stretch where people were doubting Jalen Hurts as a passer? That narrative didn't last long. Following criticism, Hurts came out and absolutely lit up the Pittsburgh Steelers and carried that momentum through the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. He's not just a game manager, he's the reigning Super Bowl MVP. Yet, questions remain. Can this offense, now under new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo after Kellen Moore's departure, maintain that top 10 efficiency from last year? Can Patullo keep the unit unpredictable and aggressive, or will the play calling become too conservative? The pressure is on. Defensively, the Eagles face an even bigger challenge. They've lost more than 4,000 total defensive snaps worth of contributors from last year's roster. That's starters and depth players. New defensive coordinator Vic Fangio will have to find creative ways to fill those gaps. The pass rush is under the microscope. The Eagles didn't trade for a big name like Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, or T.J. Watt. Instead, they're banking on cost-controlled assets and homegrown talent. Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt are going to be counted on heavily. Both showed flashes late last season. But can they carry that progress into a full breakout campaign? That's a legitimate question. Then there's the linebacker room. Zach Bond figures to be the mainstay. But who starts next to him? Jeremiah Trotter Jr. looks like the early favorite for Week 1. But Nakobe Dean's timeline for return remains uncertain. Can Jair Brown and Jalen Campbell, a rookie, step up and contribute meaningful snaps? In the secondary, there are more unknowns. Quinyon Mitchell showed promise last year, but who lines up opposite him at outside corner? And at safety, who partners with Reed Blankenship? Depth concerns are real. And let's not forget health. Since Nick Sirianni took over in 2021, the Eagles have consistently ranked in the top 5 in overall team health. Last year was especially remarkable. 21 of 20 starters from Week 1 were still available by the Super Bowl. That's unheard of in today's NFL. But can they stay that lucky again? History says probably not. Injuries are part of football. If key players go down, especially on the offensive line or in the backfield, that 11.5 number becomes even harder to reach. Still, this team has depth, coaching, and organizational stability working in its favor. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Could the city of brotherly love soon welcome a new quarterback? Rumors swirling around the NFL suggest that the Philadelphia Eagles may be making a major play for Kyler Murray, with sources hinting at a potential 4-year deal in the works. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the buzz coming from both league insiders and social media whispers is growing louder by the day. The mere idea of Murray donning midnight green is enough to shake up the NFC East. The dual-threat quarterback, known for his electric mobility and quick release, could be seen as a dynamic new piece in an already dangerous Eagles offense. With murmurs of dissatisfaction behind the scenes and possible shifts in strategy at the quarterback position, some insiders believe Philly may be preparing to pivot in a bold new direction. Adding fuel to the speculation, reports have surfaced of quiet meetings between Murray's camp and Eagles representatives. While official team channels remain tight-lipped, a few sharp-eyed fans noted increased interaction between Murray and current Eagles players on social media. Small breadcrumbs, but in the NFL world, often meaningful ones. What would this mean for the Eagles' current QB room? That remains a murky question. While Jalen Hurts has been a rising star and a face of the franchise, whispers of internal debate over long-term direction have occasionally surfaced. Bringing in Murray could signal a dramatic retooling, perhaps even a trade in the making, though that remains speculative for now. This potential 4-year signing with KYLER Murray is nothing more than a tantalizing rumor, but one that refuses to fade as the offseason heats up. This is a storyline every Eagles fan will be watching closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.